Alrighty, we are live.
Thank you.
Mhm. Is there a lot of background noise?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Just sent a reminder email to our council.
I was just wondering that. Where are they?
Okay, we only need a quorum. Um, We will send a quick link in case they need to join from their phones. Yeah.
And
Hey, council members. Hi, Jen. Hi, Britt. Hi, Spencer. Britt, I don't know if we went over this. So Josh didn't end up going on his trip, but in the event that he doesn't show up in the next minute or so, would you be okay serving as pro tem?
yes, I can't get my iPad to open or do anything
Okay.
right now for some reason. But yeah, if you kind of walk me through it, I can do it because I can't see the agenda or can't see anything.
Totally. Should be a nice, short and sweet one.
Fingers crossed.
Why would this be doing this?
Technology.
Just not letting you like open it at all.
If no, it just it wasn't like it was frozen, like it wasn't respond to let me put in my password. So I'm through it now.
Oh, we've got Josh coming in. Great.
Perfect.
Hey, Josh.
Howdy.
Hey there. Alrighty. We've got 4 of the 5 council members. Pretty
Think
nice short meeting today. Josh, are you good to chair?
Yeah, happy to. I did just see on the text machine, it sounds like Gary's on his way over there now.
Great.
So I don't know, maybe give it a minute.
Another minute or two? Yeah, for sure. I just didn't know since you were originally going to be out of town for this one. Um, okay. All right.
We just have the one agenda item, right?
Yeah.
The one and then other slash adjourn. So,
Yeah.
cool.
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, my thought is just it's probably good to wait for Gary in the sense that he has the least background, having not been on the call on Tuesday. So probably good for him to hear your readout, Malia.
Says he's trying to zoom.
Oh, okay.
And thanks for the reminder, Aaron. I was in the yard and pleasantly distracted. So thanks for the reminder to hop on.
Happy to help. Oh, I thought I saw Gary coming on. I'm not sure what just.
I think he's on the road, so
I am on a bit of a time crunch. I'd like to get back into my class by 5:30 so I can get the code so I can get credit for it. So
the
just a
code.
heads up. Otherwise, the last 3 hours have been a waste of my time.
Get you the code.
Get the code.
We'll just wait another minute. If he doesn't pop
Okay.
on, we'll get going.
I forgot about the time change between Arizona and Utah. It's only 4 o'clock here.
Yeah, this time of year is always such a
It blows my mind.
It'd be so nice if we got rid of that insanity.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. I guess it's 5:05. I'll go ahead and call to order this special town council meeting that we have called to address bids for asbestos remediation at the Brick. It is now, yeah, it's 5:05. I am on Josh Ewing. Do a little roll call to Britt, and then you can toss it.
Yep. Britt Hornsby.
Spencer Wade.
Jennifer Davila.
And it looked like for a second we had Gary, and then we lost him again.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry, maybe.
There, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Sweet.
We're
All right,
doing
we
a
have
roll.
Gary Hawes as well, so it's a full house. I will toss it to you, Malia, to give us the background for the decision we need to make tonight.
Yes, for sure. It's about to get really loud in here, and I apologize. But what we are discussing today is the asbestos award, basically, for the mitigation at the Cooperative Cultural Center, the Brick. And so what I have just shared with you, let me actually open up and see what I am sharing, is the evaluation criteria. And so of each of the bids that we received, I just went through and did an evaluation criteria. Let me actually share a different document because I have it pulled up in a little bit better way. Okay. And so I started it with our lowest bid, which is DRL Enterprises. I labeled it at the top. And then what we actually have, A through G, is everything that we had asked for in these proposals. And so I put a check mark next to everything that we did receive, and then I reflected that down below into our evaluation criteria. So DRL Enterprises provided everything except for B and C, the vendor qualification and experience, and C, a list of explanation of each comparable school or commercial building. And so as I scroll down to our evaluation criteria, we can see the grand total was 50% weighted at 36,924. Also included in that if we wanted to mitigate the building completely, it would be an additional $14,000 and 3 additional days. And so with that price, I did give DRL the full 50% of the evaluation, or full 50% on the score, on that score. Qualification and experience, since we didn't receive B or C, no points were awarded. I did do a quick Google search, and it looks like this individual has had a decade plus experience based on the licensure, how long they've had it. So I did a little bit of research there that I was able to find. And then for their technical approach, they got the full 30% because it will be 1 week to complete the work. And it was a very detailed work plan. And so overall, DRL got an 80%. Moving down, I won't say as much about the next ones now that I've kind of walked through it, but TLC was the next that I rated.
boy.
And so the grand total 65, they got 40% there. I didn't receive anything B or C for them either. And then they had a good technical approach, a 30%. So they came in at 70%. Scrolling down to Greenway Industries, they got half of the percentage for the grand total. They got the full 10% for experience, but not the 10% and working in remote areas. There's nothing specifically saying that. And then a 10% and the 15% here on the technical approach. So they got a total of 55%. For Eagle Environmental, they turned in a beautiful bid. But most of the grand total was what kind of knocked them down to 10%. And so they ended up at 40% also because their proposed schedule was 4 weeks. They did include self-leveling concrete, which unfortunately our amendment number 2 actually removed. And I wonder if that second amendment would have been taken into account, how differently their bid would have ended up. So for diamond abatement, they ended up at a 55%. I kind of considered this bid incomplete because the fee schedule that they turned in equaled 65,200, but the total amount that they actually said was 75,860. So I wasn't sure. There was no information if they had done any payment or performance bonds, and their proposal wasn't very detailed. And so without a proposed schedule, without quite a bit of that, we did give them a 55%, but still considered incomplete. Guaranteed Clean Air, they were considered incomplete because the only thing that they gave us basically was a grand total, no information, no schedule, no work plan. Peak Environmental, they submitted a bid based on the first RFP without the amendments. And so it was a very different scope of work than what we had actually asked for. So that is everyone who submitted a bid and their percentages. And so my recommendation is DRL Enterprises. Any questions?
Malia,
Yeah.
were you and Jen and Britt able to get together yesterday and discuss some of this as well?
Yes. We all met up and we went over this together. I went through all of this after I had done some of these, gone through the evaluation criteria, and really after I went through all of the bids with my fine tooth comb.
And Britt and Jen, how are you feeling about Malia's recommendation?
Yep, totally agree with it. Yeah, especially with the added possibility of getting full mitigation. So yeah, agree.
I was a little worried about the experience, but if Malia's been able to find history of experience with them and that they're not just a brand new company who are trying things out on us first, I'm also okay with it. And it sounds like she's found experience for them for the past 10 years or so.
Yeah, a lot of our conversation ended up being about policy limitations and if we can ask for more information and things like that. But we all pretty much agree right away that with Malia.
So yeah, that was my thought too, is that, I mean, it does appear that even without them submitting that information about their experience, they did have the highest ranking score. So it feels like we could, I think, conditionally award the bid as long as like the experience checks out. I would feel bad if we like gave them a score on that and they outscored somebody because of a score we made up for something they didn't submit. But it didn't appear that you did that. So it feels like we could say that, but then I would say, I think we still would want to like maybe go a little bit further in double checking their experience. But if they outscored everybody without that point, that feels okay, feels good to me. But I think we would want to confirm what you found, Malia. I'm just 100% confirming you did give them basically a 0 for those, and they still scored the highest because of the cost, basically.
Yes, that's correct. I'll share it again. So on the evaluation criteria, I circled where I awarded. And so they were 80% and 50% was for their fee schedule. 30% was for technical approach, and no points were awarded for the qualification and experience because we didn't receive anything. even though we did do that quick search, but because nothing was submitted stating the qualification and experience.
Are there any rules at this point with contacting each of these contractors and trying to fill in the gaps that we don't have on our own, like before we go with any of them, or what does that look like?
So Malia had reached out to me about this. I feel very strongly that if we were in a situation where we didn't have applicants or we only had one or two, it would behoove us to either reopen the bid or reach out to applicants to try to put together a more complete view. However, Malia's RFP process was very detailed. There was it was mandatory, correct? Mandatory pre-bid meeting, and therefore, unless
It
there
was
was some.
optional.
Oh, it's optional, okay. So with there being a pre-bid meeting, very detailed RFP with additional amendments to clarify, I don't feel as though it would benefit the town to reach out to everyone individually if we were able to get a percentage on everyone. The purpose of the RFP process is we have timelines that we must adhere to in order for projects to move forward. If an applicant did not submit a portion of the RFP, we do have to consider that in the final evaluation. So I stand strongly behind Malia's and the design review committee's point-based system and their rankings.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you. That helps.
I see Gary has a hand raised.
How do you lower your hand? Now, I was gonna pretty much not say it as well as Erin did, but I feel with as many as she's done and the deadline they had, uh, we shouldn't pursue any more with them. That it should be. I like what Malia's done.
Thank you.
So I guess I will call for a vote to approve the staff recommendation of awarding the bid to DRL Enterprises pursuant to a double check on qualifications, unless anyone else has further discussion or points they'd like to raise.
The only thing that I would note is DRL did provide additional information regarding their qualifications and certifications. Malia, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was in their bid packet. So like we have proof that they are certified with the state, that they have all of the items in terms of bonding and things like that. Of course, we are happy to reach out to identify some additional background information, but it wasn't just that this is an out of the blue company. They did provide some paperwork to prove that they are a reputable company and licensed within the state of Utah.
And they
Awesome.
had one of the most thorough plans as well, detailed. So
Very thorough.
And it seems like that, I mean, with the full mitigation, it aligns with like what Malia's initial thought was for the mitigation of the asbestos too. Or pretty close to it anyways.
Yeah, that's a good point. If the council would like to add that 14,000, should be probably decided now if we want to go with the encapsulation at 36,924 or the total mitigation 36,924 plus 14,000, 50,000. So we have 40,000 set aside in the GOEO grant due to the amount of demolition that is going to be done on ceilings. We could potentially pull some of that demolition funding from the demolition portion of the GOEO grant and put it into this portion of the project. Or it could be considered part of the cash match because that also is a requirement.
My thought is kind of like we had talked about earlier, or one of the things we talked about early on was if we can fully mitigate, because some of this stuff we had kind of discovered along the way fairly recently. And my thought is like, if we can just totally be free of it, I feel like that could be a good thing down the road. I mean, encapsulation seems like it solves the problem, but total mitigation seems worth it to me.
I agree with that. I just think it like removes any lingering doubt of if we ever end up selling the building or what have you. it's just been fully taken care of, and that's a relatively, you know, not a huge amount more to do to accomplish that. But my question would be, is if we add that 14,000 on, now are we comparing apples to apples with the rest of the other bidders?
That's my question too.
I will say, Josh, even though it's not apples to apples, we can fairly well guarantee that it would still, DRL would still be less than everyone else, even with that additional 14,000. They're still coming in under every other bidder. So yes, while it does change the scope, I think we could feel fairly confident in the information that, you know, if everyone else is just doing mitigation and not removal, if we tack on removal for everyone else, the price would go up if, you know, logic dictates those bids.
What was the next highest scoring score?
That would be TLC abatement. They're coming in at 65,000. They received 70% of the 100. And with that comparison, 65 compared to even if you tack on the 14,000, DRL is still coming in at $50,924.
Right, and so then the percentage for that second one, they would get slightly more than 70 because now that, you know what I mean, but it still would be less than 80. So I was just like, I want to be like completely fair here, but like mathematically, yeah, I think you're right. So, okay, I feel good with that.
Yeah, so if you were to compare 50,924 to 65,000, you could, in theory, say TLC in relation was maybe at a 45% compared
Right.
to, yeah, I see where you're going with that. Yes, it would
It-
still be lower.
It would still be lower ranked wise, yeah. So that feels feels like doubly covering our bases.
Yes,
So
sir.
does anyone on the council not think we should go for full, like spend the extra 14,000 to go for full remediation?
Yes. Were you asking us? Sorry.
Yeah, no, just
Kids
if
talking.
anyone doesn't think we should do that, like if
Uh,
is, you know, is anyone arguing for just doing the cheaper encapsulation? Because if so, I'd love to
Gotcha.
hear the argument because I'm, you know, open to the argument.
Gotcha.
I'm kind
Sorry.
of
Thanks.
questioning about it because when we had talked about it in DRC, it seemed like that might be a lot more complicated by having to rip out more subflooring and things like that than just encapsulating the whole thing.
Oh, that's right. And there might even be something with the walls or tiles that would be some additional, not just abatement, but also like reworking of other things that maybe we hadn't accounted for.
That's something that I can find out information, report back. I can say that DRL does have his hand raised. I know that this is a special meeting, so I don't want to tell you that you should let them speak, but they might be able to give us a little bit more information.
Yeah,
Completely up to you guys.
I think I would feel not comfortable like hearing from one bidder and not other bidders. So I think we would need to make our decision based on the information we have to be fair to all the bidders. And then, but there would be the ability to, you know, I guess I would be comfortable saying, hey, we can make the award and leave it to the discretion of the design team, being Malia and Brent and Jen, to make that call between going for either one. If the council's okay with spending the money, we can approve, you know, up to that amount and then let you guys decide. If it's too much of a mess, then I don't feel like you need to come back to the council with it. If people are okay spending the money, then it's just a logistical problem and you guys can decide which is the better route based on the logistics.
Yeah,
I'm
and for
more
me, I
comfortable
feel
with
more,
that.
yeah, comfortable going with what we discussed. And then since this was added as a bonus, something we didn't even ask for, then we can talk about it later. But let's just vote on the thing that we put out. So
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
So I guess what I would suggest, which is a little different than what you just said, Britt, is that we vote to award the bid to DRL, and we authorize spending up to the total amount with the added 14,000, and allow the design review committee to make the call on whether or not we do the full or the encapsulation.
Yes, that sounds good to me, Josh.
All right, does that sound clear in terms of what we're voting on? Anyone have any further discussion on it? Okay, all in favor of awarding the bid to DRL to spend up to the total they submitted plus the 14,000 for full remediation, depending on the decision of the design review committee. All in favor say aye, and we'll do a roll call just since we're online. Josh, yes.
Britt Hornsby, yes.
Spencer Wade, yes.
Jennifer Davila, yes.
Gary Hawes, yes.
Okay, so we'll consider that a 5-0 vote and the award done. Knowing that Malia needs to go get some credit for her class, we will cut you loose. Thank you so much, Malia, for your hard work on this. Does anyone have any other items they need to discuss?
Thanks, Malia.
Hearing none, we will consider this adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for jumping on today.
Thanks, guys.
See y'all. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a good